YouTube. Welcome back to my channel Through Seasonal Lens. This is the video journal of Brilliant but Seasonal Wellness, a business that I own. I have an Etsy shop as well as this channel where I talk all about living in harmony with the season at hand. I incorporate astrology, seasonal studies, and everything along those lines. This month we are going to talk about Capricorn season. So I am basically giving 3 lifestyle tips for this time that is between December 21st to about January 19th. So this is considered Capricorn season in astrology, but it's also a micro season that represents the winter solstice, which is right now. I'm actually recording this 2 days after the solstice, so happy winter solstice, happy holidays. So this time is all about welcoming back the light from the darkness. We are experiencing the shortest days of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere. The symbolism of that is obviously really supportive of reflecting, inner world, inner work, everything that has to do with the self and reflecting on those things. Without further ado, let's get into the symbolism of Capricorn season. When we are talking about Capricorn, we are also talking about Saturn. We are talking about cardinal energy, which is the beginning of a season, and we are talking about earth energy as well. So Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign of the zodiac. There are no others. So every time we talk about cardinal, fixed, mutable, and then the element, each one has an individual unique flavor, and we are now in the earth cardinal flavor. What does that mean? Earth energy is all about feeling sensations and as well as building foundations, reality-based experiences in terms of going out into nature and feeling grounded, or putting your hands on your craft and creating something new. It is also a very creative sign that really wants to initiate. And that in that we're talking about the cardinal energy, which, like I said, is always at the beginning of a season. And what it wants to do is innovate. It wants to create, it wants to get inspired, and it wants to ride off of that innovation, inspiration. So when we think about this earth energy with the cardinal energy, and then we consider Saturn, that can come with a bit of, I guess some would say, seriousness. So earth signs can be practical by nature, but when we put Saturn into the mix, it is now concerned with time, wisdom, responsibility, things that are long-standing, require consistency, responsibility, like I said. It's also concerned with how we gain wisdom over time, and time itself is Saturn ruled. So anything that has to do with overriding authority in our day-to-day, that is very Saturnine. And so this is kind of just giving you a gist of what this season brings, what is supported right now, and we can get a little bit more into the symbolism of the solstices themselves, because this, I think, is very important in terms of understanding the seasonal wellness part of it. So as I mentioned, winter solstice, this is a time marking the initiation of the sun's return, and we are in the Northern Hemisphere, so repeating that just so we are all aware that this is not the same in the Southern Hemisphere. Capricorn, Cancer, which is the axis we are talking about right now, pretty much the axis that is being activated. They're the tropics, and they also represent the solstices. So when the sun meets these constellations in the sky, it is always the solstices, which is symbolically the extremes of dark and light. When we're at the equinoxes, we are talking about a balance of dark and light. So when you think about it that way, what comes to mind in terms of living in the extremes, right? For me, I take solstices as full moon moments. We are in our outmost expression of darkness right now. Just like on June 21st, we are at our outmost expression of light. We have built it up to this point, and although we are just at the beginning of a season, this is also kind of the end of the darkness for us in the winter solstice time. So my notes right here, where the sun reaches the highest or lowest point based on our perspective. That is what the solstices represent. So to me, this is associated with our identities in the context of our legacy, Capricorn, and who we are internally, Cancer. So I gave an example of when we're thinking about astrology, this is mainly just astrology. Cancer is all about the emotional status, kind of at home, your internal world. What does it look like at home for you? How does things make you feel? When you are alone and in solitude, what comes up? When you are looking at yourself in the mirror. These are all Cancerian symbols to me. I'm also a Cancer, so I feel like I might have a little bit more to say on that. And then we think about Capricorn, and what Capricorn has always represented in astrology is these bigger lifelong legacies, longevity, and it also has been associated with reputation and legacy, kind of like what you're known for. So when you think about that, that is almost like the opposite of Cancer in a way of like, Cancer is very home-based while Capricorn is very outward-based. And it makes sense because one of the things that I believe about the zodiac is that the first 6 signs of the zodiac, from Aries to Virgo, are very concerned with the self and the inner world and developing the self-identity, while from Virgo or from Libra to Pisces, it is all about relating to others. So Capricorn, we are pretty much almost at the end of the outward side of the year, astrological year, by the way. So that is just another way to look at all of this. Like I said here, I'm just going to finish off my notes. Saturn is associated with our responsibilities, the ethereal, time, fathers, limits, aging, and wisdom. So when I say ethereal, the reason I say that is because back when astrologers would look at Saturn, they would consider that Saturn is the outermost planet because Pluto wasn't even considered yet. But Saturn always sat at the edge of the solar system, so it was almost like Saturn represented that boundary. So all from even just the understanding of Saturn's placement in our solar system, we can say that yes, Saturn represents this boundary line. It's like the limit, basically the gateway to the ethereal, the unknown for us. So I think what this also represents, even in humans, in events that take place under strong Saturn placements, transits, there, as much as there's this seriousness and this earthy, practical logic, limits, always concerned with the bigger overarching kind of like father figure of life, there's also a very ethereal element to Saturn that I think gets overlooked a lot, that can be very spiritually oriented and at the end of the day has a lot of heart. When you think about fathers and father figures and figures that are authoritative, it's all based on a system at this point, but the heart of the system, when the system first became a structure, there was so much heart obviously in that, and the creation of that takes a lot of imagination. So let's not forget that Saturn can be creative in our perspective. So Capricorn, this is the last overview I'll say of Capricorn. It is cardinal earth, so it wants to initiate action, build, prosper, and provide. Let's get into the 3 lifestyle tips that I have for you today. These lifestyle tips are for the dates from December 21st to January 19th, till the sun moves into Aquarius. So my first lifestyle tip is to reflect on your experiences. This sounds so generic, but what I wrote down is, have you gained something, lost something? What was your response? take stock at how far you've come this year and allow it to motivate your next steps in where you're going. So this is a bit of a mix of, obviously, the season at hand. We are at the end of the Gregorian calendar year. Not in terms of astrology. This is not the end of the year in astrology. That is actually more like March 20th. So as we are living kind of seasonally, right? So reflecting on our experiences of this last year is something that speaks to the wisdom that Capricorn, Saturn ruled sign wants to do and is inclined to do. And when we do this, it actually allows us to gain more wisdom, have more of an understanding of ourselves, and it's almost the process of what it means to grow. When we do grow and when we prosper in life, which also is something that Capricorn wants to do, we have to look back, we have to get reflective, which I think just speaks to the Cancerian axis of all of this. I tend to think that the axes are all related in terms of what one does, the other kind of supports. So in Capricorn, we can get Cancerian and look inward, have moments of reflectiveness to then gain our next step. Capricorn is also very concerned with the future. So how can we move into the future without looking at the past? That is kind of the basis of this tip. And yeah, reflect on experiences. My next lifestyle tip is experiment in creating with your hands. So whether it's cooking, woodworking, sculpting, painting, baking, building, etc., activate our bodies by grounding in physical activities that also stimulate the mind. This is all supported right now. The cold Saturnine weather also promotes indoor creating or bracing the outdoors for invigoration. So when you first think of activities and creating things with your hand, you might think of, oh, that's perfect to do in the summertime. Like you can build, it's more comfortable outside to do that. But when you think about how can we do that now and what's more comfortable right now, what can we do with ease? We can go outside with ease if we feel the need for invigorating our physical bodies and getting maybe the blood flowing a little more. But what this tip is really speaking to is getting creative inside and get creative with your hands. So this is obviously things like what I listed, painting, baking, all of that. That's a really cool thing to do also with the holidays. But this obviously is speaking to the earth energy that Capricorn brings, and the reason why it's a cardinal sign is because it wants to innovate, it wants to get creative, and it also speaks to that ethereal element that Saturn brings as well. So this is not only just simply activating your hands and getting, I guess, working more with the physical body, but it's also about getting creative with it. So painting, baking, can't think of any other things I said. Building, sculpting, woodworking, cooking, all of that is supported right now. And what is also cool is that we are at the beginning of winter, and what winter sometimes means for us here in the Northern Hemisphere is that we now are more home-based, and home cooking becomes more of a part of our life versus being outward and going out to eat with friends and being social. Like, all of that is much more supported in Cancer season. My last tip for lifestyle is goal set and activate the plan. So what I wrote here is a goal without a plan is just a wish. And our forward thinking can really use a framework right now. So Saturn is concerned with time, and that is why setting a framework for our goals, which become activated as we spend more time alone, is supported right now. So, as I said, Saturn is associated with time and kind of the line in which time can become more significant in terms of our identity, right? So as time goes on, what Capricorn is really looking to do is it's really looking to prosper and go higher and make more of a difference, build, create, innovate new ideas that are long-standing, foundationally initiated. So it's kind of funny how naturally our society says, oh, it's the end of the year and it's a really good time to set a goal because new year, new you, whatever, all of that jazz. It's funny that naturally comes to mind for people, and not even considering the symbolism of Capricorn, that can actually be super Capricorn energy to set a goal and stick to it for the future, right? Like we are at the beginning of winter, which will then mark the beginning of spring, and that in astrology is associated with endings. Pisces is associated with endings, which is only 2 months away. So when we're thinking about goal setting, we're also associating goal setting with endings. And what endings can do is give us fresh perspective and allow us to dream up and imagine what a new beginning could look like. And with that is what is supported right now in Capricorn season. We want to build a foundation that will last us long into the future, and that will not only allow us to prosper, but will also give back to us in terms of monetary value, right? It's an earth sign, or things that have to do with just your experiences on earth, right? It is all about reality as much as our imaginations can run wild as we're alone and inward in the wintertime. Capricorn also isn't afraid of the imagination, because it knows, I think innately, that everything that you hold in your imagination can be reality. And that is how pretty much everything has become reality. Everything innovative or anything that was invented has always been in the mind of somebody before it was reality and before it was created. And that's just the beauty behind Saturn and Saturnine elements of life, is like there is a limit. There is a limit to your mind, or there is a limit to what we see in reality, but there is no limit in our imagination. So whatever you focus on during this time of year, you're not only initiating it, but you're also planting the seed for winter to be this time of fruitful initiation of something that you really want. And that's a beautiful thing. I thank you so much for watching this video on Capricorn season, winter solstice symbolism. And yeah, next month we are going to talk about Aquarius season. We're going to do 3 lifestyle tips as well. And yeah, I want to know, what do you guys think of these videos? Are they helpful? Are they just kind of stuff you already know? How else can I be of service on this platform? Because I would love in the new year to start creating more videos and or more just videos that can help my followers and help people who are interested in this stuff. So let me know in the comments what you want to hear from me. If it's different, the same, you like everything I do, that's awesome. And yeah, give me a like, subscribe if you like this content. It allows me to get motivated to create more. And yeah, I will see you all next month.